Guys, welcome to Streak Initiative. This week we are covering international relations, and again we'll be covering few of the themes which were important from the last 1 year of current affairs with respect to international relations. You can use these themes just to revise some of the topics. It will be a quick recap of these topics. So, without much ado, let's move on to the first question of the day, which is related to a current affair news that was there in your this year's news coverage. So, Supply Chain Resilience Initiative (SCRI) aims to build a resilient supply chain in the Indo-Pacific region, and it was launched by which countries? And you have to select the right combination here and then choose the option. So the answer for this particular question is actually A. So if you have any idea with respect to what this particular initiative is, what is the basic aim behind this particular initiative, then I think you can easily remove the idea of China from the option. And as soon as you remove China, I think all the options just automatically are gone and you're just left with A option. So here, the trade ministries of India, Japan, and Australia, they had formally behind this particular supply chain resilience initiative idea. So this is basically to build up a cycle of enhancing, making sure that the supply chain, because in terms of COVID, we see that a lot of supply chain was hampered, and especially at international level. So the working was hampered because of such situations. So keeping in view of that, what these countries are planning, so that in future we have a smooth supply chain resilience, even in case of any such kind of pandemic that occurs in the Indo-Pacific region. So that is why these three countries came together and made sure that it is sustainable, it is balanced, it's inclusive. And also, you see the rise of China in Indo-Pacific regions through its many initiatives like Belt Road Initiative, the Maritime Initiative. So it's including itself directly, indirectly in a lot of supply chain initiatives here. So what happens is, in case of pandemic, if one country is completely ruling or having a dominance in supply chain, then automatically in case of pandemic, all the countries are dependent upon that country. So in order to get out of that kind of dependence for future and reduce the dominance of China in Indo-Pacific region in terms of supply chain, that is why India, Japan, and Australia came out with this particular initiative. So the answer for this particular question is A. The next question is a report related question. Now, report related questions are very important. Make sure you get that list from the internet, like a lot of you can find it on a lot of websites. So what they do is each organization and their respective reports. So for example, you have United Nations Environment Program, what all reports it brings out, the list has been given. The World Bank related list has been given, information IMF related reports. So download that list and make sure you revise that 2-3 times, because these questions are very simple, and you do not want to miss out on them, because they are like easy catching fruits, low hanging fruits in your examination. So make sure you done with that report consistently. So here we're talking about is Global EV Outlook 2021, and which organization has published it. So this EV stand here for electronic vehicle. Now, as soon as you hear electronic vehicle, I think only two options would look visible. That is A and D. That is your International Energy Agency and International Renewable Energy Agency. Like these two would look connected to this particular idea, right? So the answer here is A. And in fact, IEA is a organization which brings out a lot of reports with respect to even oil and energy outlook and all those kind of reports. So make sure you go through all those reports. Also is India a member of this particular body? So membership is also important. Look into that also. That is also important. So basically, this report is targeting. See, in future, what we are planning is a shift towards electronic vehicles. So this report is actually measuring that kind of shift right now, and there's this expectation that by 2030 there'll be 145 million vehicles which are running on electricity. So that kind of increase is measured throughout this report, and it is published by the IEA. And all the things that I told you with respect to this, make sure you do that as your today's task. Just revise that list, and it'll. I think if a question comes, then it'll be good for you. You'll be able to attempt that easily. The next question that we're going to discuss is about India and UK bilateral relations, and it has been in news. So let's look at the three options that have been given here. So the first option is that India and United Kingdom enjoys a strategic partnership since 2004, and second statement here is that UK is the third largest inward investor in India after Mauritius and Singapore. And the third here is that Global Alliance for Vaccine and Immunization, that is Gavi, was joint initiative of India and UK. Now, Gavi is something that is a very common organization, and a lot of times you see nowadays they've also started asking questions on international organizations, NGO, like one NGO, this border Doctors Beyond Border was asked once. Then another NGO, I cannot recall, but NGO related questions have been coming a lot in your prelims, so make sure you are aware about them. Now, Gavi is not something that is jointly started by India and UK. In fact, it was actually it's a vaccine alliance which was created in 2002, and it's an international organization, and it has public and private partnership here. A lot of public sector and also private sector are equally contributing member of this particular alliance. So we've got its connection with donor government nations. We've got World Health Organization, which is connected to it, UNICEF, World Bank, even a lot of industries are connected to it and working in the developing countries. We've got organizations like Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which also works with this particular organization. And in fact, Gavi has an observer status at World Health Assembly, right? So it's an important organization. You should be aware about it. So third statement here is wrong. And as soon as you do that, the third statement is here wrong, automatically you just left with the option A, and that is the answer. You don't have to know which year the strategic partnership was set up between India and UK, or whether UK is the third inward investor or not, but these statements are correct here. So India and UK did had a strategic partnership which started in 2004. Now, strategic partnership between two nations is usually not clearly defined, but it usually refers to a bilateral relationship which is based upon a lot of strategic issues like security, defense, and economic interest, trade, investment, transfer of technology, banking sector. So all those strategic interventions and a closer relationship, like there's a normal bilateral relations, a step beyond that is something that we call as a strategic partnership, and they are usually based on policy declarations here, right? And so this is like one step closer to getting involved in a lot of important decisions. So that is the idea behind strategic partnership, and this is also correct, the second statement. So the answer here is A. The next question that we're looking into is also was part of your current affairs. Now, One Health was something that was recently in news, and the question is about what is it. So the first statement here is that it's a high-level expert panel formed by WHO. And second statement here is that it will study the emergence and spread of zoonotic diseases and advises the global agency on how the future outbreaks, especially the zootonic diseases, can be averted. Now, what is zootonic diseases? Zootonic diseases is basically the diseases which spread from animals. So we've got a lot of these diseases that are coming up nowadays. Like we've got H5N1, we've got avian flu, we've got MERS, that is Middle East virus that came up. Then Ebola is there, Zika virus is there. In Kerala, we had Nipah virus. So all these are, animal-led zootonic diseases, which comes from animal and has created an outbreak in the human society. So basically, both the statements are correct here. The answer is actually C. So WHO has actually formed an expert panel to take care and tackle these kind of diseases, because I think in future we have more of these diseases that is going to become a greater danger. Like we're shifting from the traditional diseases towards say zootonic diseases, non-communicable lifestyle diseases. So they are becoming a bigger concern as compared to other diseases. So that is why these particular initiatives have been taken, and it was a news, and the panel that has been formed is based upon advisory from a lot of different organizations, like FAO is connected, WHO is connected here, then World Organization for Animal Health, United Nations Environment Program. Now here, World Organization for Animal Health is a different organization. Make sure you Google it and look what is it about, right? That is how you study for prelims. You make connections with normal topics that you're reading. Something new you come across, you Google it. So that is again one more thing that you're going to do. Google that particular organization. And so the answer for this particular question is C. Both these statements are correct. And let us do the last question of the day. Again, this was in news. Open Sky Treaty, Arms Control Pact. So the first statement here is, under the treaty, a member state can spy on any part of the host nation with the latter's consent. And second is, both US and India are members of the treaty and Russia is not a member of the treaty. Now, this was in news, so I think you should be able to attempt that. And again, do not confuse it with another concept, which is Open Sky Agreement. That is completely different idea, and this is completely different idea. So when we're talking about Open Sky Treaty Arms Control Pact, it came into effect in 2002. And the basic idea here was that, countries would be allowed to have unmanned surveillance, the aerial surveillance over the region, so that there's no misunderstanding amongst the nations, and it might not lead to any kind of war. So that is why a small amount of spying is allowed here, so that nations are pretty much, ensured that the other country is not engaging into any kind of activity which might be harmful for their own security reasons, right? So this kind of thing came out, and why wasn't in news? Because Russia and USA had recently withdrawn from this particular treaty. So that is why this treaty was in news, and India was never a part of it. So the answer for this particular question is A. The statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is wrong. So right now the membership of this particular treaty is basically European nations. And I believe Canada also. You can check out and comment if Canada is not a member of this particular treaty in the comment section. But only limited nations are right now a party to this particular treaty. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you had fun watching this particular video. Make sure some of the things that I told you, you do Google it or revise, download that list of reports, revise it once, and get back to your studies. All the best for prelims.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civil's Daily.